Ma stared at the young man, at the face she had never thought she'd see again. Edmund Lim was about Rafi's age and height, and almost as rugged and dashing. Almost, she thought. He wore a loose white cotton shirt, faded jeans, and boots. Mars remembered that Edmund had always worn boots. "I saw Rafi in a taxi." Edmund offered her a sly smile. "Still going together?" "Yes," Mars replied hastily. Edmund was the last person she'd expected to meet that night. If only he'd given her some warning. Coming face to face with an ex-boyfriend was never easy, and her temper stirred. "How long have you been waiting here?" she demanded. "You haven't been spying on me, have you?" Edmund laughed. "I didn't want Rafe to see me. It only made him jealous." "Rafe never gets jealous," Mars flagged. "Well, he should," Edmund teased her and folded his arms. "I stopped by to see if I could buy you a coffee or something." "But Rafe's my boyfriend now," Mars began fiercely. Then she checked her emotions. "I'm sorry, Edmund, but it's been a long day." "I forgot you are an investigator now," Edmund studied her, a mysterious smile playing on his lips. "Have you been out on a case?" "I'm not supposed to talk about work." Mars found it difficult to meet Edmund's gaze. "Good," Edmund grinned. "I'd rather talk about us anyhow." He held out a hand and took her wrist lightly. Mars felt something like electricity surge through her veins. She pulled away and then suddenly found herself relenting. Something told her that Edmund would not let her go until they had coffee. Sergeant Sue phoned Alvin at 7 o'clock that next morning. His words cleared the fog of sleep from Alvin's mind. "We found that black motorbike," he informed Alvin. "It was abandoned in a back street near some factories. We know it was the one you saw last night, leaving the professor's house. The soil on the tires matches samples we took from the garden, and the tire tracks are identical to those we found behind the house." "Did you find the owner?" Alvin wanted to know. Eagerly. "It was stolen," Sergeant Sue explained. "The real owner filed a police report earlier in the day." The sergeant cleared his throat. A note of anxiety crept into his voice. "Alvin, we also found traces of blood on the motorbike. It is very likely that the person who rode the bike and assaulted the professor has been killed. Maybe by the same person who hired him to go to the professor's house and search it." But before Alvin could say anything, Sergeant Sue continued. "That's why I don't want you working on the case," he added crisply. "It's become extremely dangerous." No sooner had the sergeant finished the call than Alvin sent SMSs to his investigators. An hour later they arrived at the headquarters. Azizu had been fishing and he stowed his rods in a corner. Wailing went straight to her desk. She glanced up a moment later than when Mars strode in and was puzzled by a guilty look on her friend's face. She was even more puzzled when Rafe followed, but did not sit beside her. Cinchita hurried in after them, brandishing a roll of pages held together by a rubber band. Her eyes brimmed with excitement. Alvin told them about Sergeant's call. Sergeant Sue thinks the man we saw on the bike has been killed." Azizu wrinkled his brow. "Just because he tried to steal a dead eagle?" "Aha! I think I've got the answer to that." Cinchita jumped to her feet. "Professor Jung is not an ornithologist," she told them, spreading her stack of printouts on the table. "He's a rocket scientist." Silence Silence hung over the room. Everyone stared at Cinchita, and then at the information she had downloaded from the net. Wow, Azizu said, pushing back on his chair and fiddling with his cap. So he's not just some dumb old birdman. Fantastic work, Cinchita, Alvin congratulated her. You must have been busy last night. She wasn't the only one, growled Rafe, casting an unfriendly look at Mars. Mars shifted in her seat and ignored him. Azizu lifted a questioning eyebrow but said nothing. I wonder if the professor had anything to do with killing the man on the bike, Wheeling asked, at the same time wondering what had happened between Mars and Rafe. Alvin frowned. Good question, he nodded. Though Professor Jung doesn't look much like a criminal or murderer to me. But then he doesn't look much like a rocket scientist either, Cinchita countered. Alvin looked round at his investigators and began pacing up and down. This mystery is getting very murky, he spoke his thoughts out loud. Suddenly he swung around and snapped his fingers. Let's go back to basics. I mean, why did the professor choose us to find the eagle? Because we are great, grinned Cinchita, running fingers through her long hair. He said he'd read about our cases, Wheeling recalled. Exactly, said Alvin, then started pacing again. But what was it about our cases that attracted his attention? Rafe leaned back in his chair, deep in thought. Well, we solved cases about stolen rubies, missing movies, and kidnapped pop stars. Wheeling polished her glasses. And we did solve the mystery of the white tiger. She shrugged. Tigers, eagles, animals, birds. Maybe that was why. Possibly. Alvin leaned forward on the table. But there must be something else. Azizu snapped his fingers. I've got it. The snake. Everyone stared at him in surprise. The snake was in 2 of our first 4 cases. Alvin nodded slowly, and his eyes began to light up. Great thinking, Azizu. Of course, the snake. He thumped the table with his fist. It's got to be the snake. The professor must have found out we'd outsmarted the snake twice. He thought about it some more. That means the snake must have put him in danger, and that's why he looked so frightened and came straight to us for help. And that's why he didn't want the police involved, added Azizu. He's terrified of what the snake could do to him. Rafe agreed. What if he's up to some kind of criminal activity with the snake? If that's what he's doing, then he definitely couldn't go to the police for help. But the professor's a rocket scientist, argued Mars, her voice crackling with scorn. He's not a criminal. Wailing looked puzzled. I don't get it, she told Alvin. Are you saying the snake wanted to steal the eagle? I mean, why would a master criminal like the snake want a dead bird? When we know the answer to that, Alvin said, we'll crack the case. He checked his watch. I think it's time we paid the professor another visit. Rafe jumped up, shooting Mars an icy look. Good idea. I need a change of air for a while. Azizu leapt to his feet too. I'll go with you. Wailing glared at Evan. Haven't you forgotten what Sergeant Sue told us last night? We are not supposed to get mixed up in this case. Alvin winked. It'll be okay. Just a quick visit, that's all. Cinchita folded her arms stonily. And while you're doing that, what are we supposed to do? Just sit here and twiddle our thumbs? But the boys were already heading outside. Mars wearily sank back in her chair as the door slammed. Let them go, she hissed. They're all the same, so childish. Wei looked at her questioningly. Mas, what's going on? You and Raphael looked about ready to kill each other. Mas shook her head. Raphael is just jealous. That's all. Just because of Edmund. Cinchitta's eyes widened. You don't mean Edmund Lim, your ex-boyfriend? He was waiting for me at home last night and took me out for coffee, Mars explained, and one of Raphael's friends saw us together and rang Raphael, and now Raphael's accusing me of cheating on him.